Hello everyone, please press subscribe, press follow, press the bell so you don't miss any new clips. Astral Pets Store. Author by Ancient She. Audio novels by Novelist. Astral Pets Store. Chapter 111 or Inspiring Display. Su Lingyu, Jiang Xingyu and their friends had found several seats among the crowd. Su Lingyu was waiting for the class to begin with a complicated mindset. Just then, they found their teacher to ask whether the new teacher was real. Xuanhuan had confirmed the fact. That sorry brother of mine is an advanced teacher of the academy. Isn't he supposed to be looking after the shop? Su Lingyu had been asking that question in her mind several times. As Su Lingyu believed, it was already impossible for Su Ping to surpass competitors during an entrance exam and become a student. It would be a giant joke to say that Su Ping could be their teacher. But an advanced teacher, this is so stupid. As someone who had spent years together with Su Ping, Su Lingyu gave no credit to what she heard. He killed a magical corpse beast. If Su Ping was that good, he would have already bullied her to death at home. The class was starting soon. Su Lingyu wanted to see what exactly was going on. It wasn't Su Ping who appeared on the stage first, but Luo Guxu. Some of the students called out their confusion since they were expecting a different teacher, even though they also loved Luo Guxu's classes. Alright, please quiet down now, Luo Guxu introduced while looking around the crowded venue. I'm going to present my friend, also the new teacher who recently joined our academy, Mr. Su Ping. As soon as Luo Guxu heard about Su Ping's lesson, she showed up in advance to back him up, so that Su Ping did not meet any trouble dealing with the students, all because he didn't look like a very convincing teacher. Her effort indeed paid out because several students who doubted Su Ping chose to trust her. You're up. Stay calm and everything will be good, Dongming Song said to Su Ping in the backstage. Su Ping didn't need such encouragement since he had gone through way worse situations before. Though he still appreciated the vice principal's kindness. He nodded and went to join Luo Guxu on the stage, immediately attracting everyone's attention. That guy looks exactly the same as in the picture, a student uttered. Is he really our teacher? Using his enhanced eyesight, Su Ping slowly scanned through the students and could clearly see their facial hairs. Next, he saw Luo Guxu's encouraging smile. He walked past her and began addressing the students in a loud voice, while several microphones helped to convey his words to those outside the venue. Good day, everyone. I will be your teacher today. My name is Su Ping, Ping as in, peaceful. Luo Guxu saw Su Ping's confident stance and realized that her worries were unfounded. I should have known. He didn't seem scared in the least when dealing with that magical corpse beast. Why would he be afraid in front of some students? She jumped off the stage and quietly became another spectator. Su Ping continued. In a moment, I'll be showing you something regarding undead-type astral pets. You'll learn a lot if you happen to possess an undead pet. Or if you don't, do not worry, for such knowledge will be of great use once you go to barren areas after graduation. There, you will run into undead-type opponents sooner or later. Knowing how to deal with them more effectively is better than being unprepared. A student suddenly stood up and asked out aloud, Mr. Su, everybody's been talking about how you butchered a magical corpse beast. Is that true? More students mumbled something similar because they all wanted to ask the same thing. They were glad that someone was brave enough to act first. Yeah, I want to know it too. Did you really, sir? With someone taking the lead, more and more students joined the chaos until the order in the venue was disturbed. Su Ping raised an eyebrow. It is written in my resume. Are you questioning the reliability of the academy's staff, or my strength, specifically? The man who raised the question was indeed doubting Su Ping, though he wasn't going to be so straightforward. It's not like that, Mr. Su. Just, we hope that you can show us something awesome if you can. He's right. Show us. Show us. The crowd was stirred up again. Su Ping sighed in frustration. He planned to spend an hour there, which was barely enough to show everything he had prepared to teach the students. Persistent interruptions made him unhappy. Time to change his way. Fair enough. Several students with bad intentions smirked when they thought they were going to see Su Ping embarrassing himself for real. Su Lingyu's seat was pretty far from the main stage, though she didn't need to see Su Ping's face clearly to recognize him. His voice, that cheap coat he wore this morning, she couldn't have mistaken these. Apart from being surprised to see her brother actually there, she also felt a bit afraid that whatever prank Su Ping had in stock was going to get busted at this rate. Their whole family would have to face the consequences of this charade. Each time Su Lingyu heard someone suspecting Su Ping's ability, she felt her heart grasped by the claws of stress. Come on out. Su Ping ripped open his pet space. A small skeleton stumbled out and collapsed on the floor, causing one of its ribs to come loose. The skeleton quickly reinstalled the fallen rib bone before it drew a bone blade and began guarding Su Ping with a serious look. Through their connection, Su Ping told it that there was no danger around. Little skeleton put its blade back and slowly glanced at all those present. The embers in its eye sockets flickered as if blinking. All the students became quiet when they saw the new level skeleton, whereas Su Lingyu closed her eyes in despair. This is the end, she thought. That guy mentioned something about a skeleton being his pet. So this is it. He's going to disappoint us all. Little skeleton didn't look much different from ordinary skeletons when idle, because the power of a skeleton king was usually hidden deep inside its bones. The only thing worth noticing was that little skeleton was black instead of pale white. Before anyone could express an opinion, Su Ping told little skeleton to go to the battleground and show some blade work. With a simple jump, little skeleton leaped several meters high into the air and landed inside another zone beside the stage. The students watching were surprised again, as they weren't expecting the seemingly weak and squishy skeleton to move like that. Jumping was nothing impressive for Astral Pets, but it was different when a skeleton, which was usually slow and fragile, did such a thing. Little skeleton began unleashing a dark energy cloud around its form. After displaying a brief and sharp killing intent, it raised its bone blade and slashed at the air in front of it. Crack! A blade aura that looked like a giant black crescent traveled a dozen meters before vanishing, leaving a large gash on the floor in its path. Su Ping gave it another order. Roar. Little skeleton took a step forward, steadied itself, and its small body unleashed a deafening bellow inside the venue. The students on the front seats cringed as they briefly felt their minds going blank. That felt like 1,000 zombies or creepy ghosts were yelling into their ears and directly assaulting their very souls. That was the end of the performance. Since he couldn't find any dead bodies close by, Su Ping couldn't tell little skeleton to use undead enslaving. Now, back. He opened his pet space again and retrieved little skeleton. Luo Guxu silently nodded in awe while she watched. She recognized that skeleton. It was the same one who killed and enslaved a magical corpse beast. She knew Su Ping had what it took to get the students under his skin. Just like Su Ping himself, that skeleton could be deceiving on the outside. People wouldn't know what it was capable of until they saw it with their own eyes. Behind the stage, Dongming Song and Feng Yanjing were both staring their eyes out after the display. No matter how Luo Guxu assured them of Su Ping's skills, they still had their doubts. Now they didn't have to. As an experienced battle pet warrior, Dongming Song clearly saw the true prowess of the skeleton, not because of the skills it displayed, but the intensive aura of violence only possible for a being who had faced countless foes and survived. Dongming Song glanced at Su Ping's premature look again and wondered how it was possible for this young man to train the skeleton like that. Next to Dongming Song, Feng Yanjing finally knew why Su Ping was hired as an advanced teacher. That deadly blade strike had told him enough. Feng Yanjing was confident in his strength and defense, yet he wasn't so sure that he could survive from that attack if he was on the receiving end. As far as he could see, that small skeleton could absolutely win against a magical corpse beast in a direct confrontation. Moreover, Su Ping seemed to be hiding more tricks under his sleeves. Meanwhile, the students were gazing at the giant fissure with open jaws. Including Su Lingyu, who couldn't believe that her useless brother's weak skeleton could be so deadly. During a dinner the other day, Su Ping mentioned that his skeleton was pretty good. At that time, Su Lingyu thought her brother found a random pet and saw it as a treasure because he had never dealt with many astral pets before. But this was more than pretty good. Not even elite skeletons of high ranks could effortlessly cut the ground open like that. Su Ping looked around the venue before he fixed his sights on the man who openly questioned him a moment before. Was that good enough? The addressed student was blushing furiously. That blade slash might not be enough to kill a magical corpse beast, but no pets in that venue could do better than that was for sure. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Sit down then. Let's begin our lesson. Another student who was standing at the edge of the venue without a seat spoke up. Mr. Su, that skeleton is only one of your, average pets, right? Do you have any high-rank ones on you? He tried to be polite, which meant he was truly curious about the question. Yeah, I wonder what is his strongest pet? Another student followed up. A magical corpse beast is of the upper 8th rank. He has 9th rank pets, right? 9th rank pets meant the strongest ones below beast kings. Of course everyone wanted to see one. High rank pets, huh? Su Ping knew what they were expecting. Yeah, I have one. But I have yet to start training it. He lifted his hand and summoned the Inferno Dragon Whelp. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 112. End of the lesson. A miniature fire tornado appeared in front of Su Ping, from which the small Inferno Dragon jumped out. The creature had grown bigger, thanks to the energy absorbed in a nursing pen for a few days. Though it was still a baby by dragon normal standards, its scales had hardened up quite a bit. At the moment, common swords and blades were no longer enough to harm it. Its appearance once again silenced the onlooking students as they immediately recognized this popular yet rare astral pet. As one of the best dragon-type pets, an Inferno Dragon was known to become at least 10 times deadlier than a silver-winged dragon upon reaching maturity. Rich families might be able to afford a silver-winged dragon if they found someone selling one with enough luck, yet Inferno Dragons weren't something that could be bought with money. There probably wasn't another one in the entire Longjiang city. Su Ping's Inferno Dragon was clearly still a kid, although being a kid meant being even more valuable because it had unlimited potential. With enough training done, it would soon become the king of all 9th rank astral pets. It was a priceless treasure. Compared to the students, the adults around the stage were more surprised by the fact that Su Ping possessed such an awesome pet. Telling from their experience, they knew Su Ping was going to become a titled battle pet warrior at this rate with the help of that dragon. A titled battle pet warrior was an extremely rare privilege in this world. Su Ping basically booked a place. Meanwhile, Su Lingyu just found another confusing question hitting her mind. Where the heck did Su Ping find something so expensive? Su Ping was already calling the Inferno Dragon back. He didn't want all the students to get further distracted from the lecture. He had been hired as a teacher after all. As a citizen, it would be a lofty achievement to help the city develop several brilliant battle pet warriors. The students were obviously disappointed by his action. Most of the time, they could only see such exquisite pets in books and TV shows. Let's begin the lesson. Su Ping tried maintaining a neutral tone. Raise your hand before speaking in case you have something to ask about the lesson. Anyone who keeps getting distracted won't be able to attend my future classes. The students immediately went silent. They would no longer disrespect Su Ping just because he seemed to be of a similar age. Owning an Inferno Dragon alone meant Su Ping was not someone they could hope to surpass in their entire lives. With no more interruptions, Su Ping was going to follow his original schedule. First, he would teach everyone how to survive better in an area full of undead creatures. The next part was about using undead-type pets with more efficiency. As for the last part, which was how to better confront other battle pet warriors who used undead-type pets, he would probably have to leave it for the next class. As I said, once you graduate, you'll be sent to certain sections full of corpses of either men or beasts. These places are loved by undead spirits. Not to mention that there are space ruptures full of undead types. Now, I'm going to show you several common threats you'll run into. In great detail, Su Ping revealed all the experiences he learned when exploring the chaotic realm of the undead. Still, he omitted those exceptionally deadly existences because these students probably weren't going to see something of such caliber. When he had to teach them pet skills used by undead-type pets, he summoned Little Skeleton again to demonstrate and make the job easier. When the students watched Little Skeleton use Puppet, Darkness Blinding, Rotting Flesh and some other exclusive undead moves, they were again astounded by Little Skeleton's endowment. At one point, Su Ping asked that skeptical student to join him and use a pet to show the effects of Little Skeleton's skills. The man had no choice but to comply while trying not to cry in public. An hour elapsed soon enough, marking the end of the special lesson. While most students wondered where Su Ping learned all that valuable wisdom, they also felt glad that they did learn many interesting and useful topics about the undead. Without being asked, everyone stood up and applauded. Now they had enough reason to respect Su Ping from the bottom of their hearts. Even Luo Guxu found the lesson to be extremely rewarding, even though the teacher was unbelievably younger than her. My word, he's such a promising young man, isn't he? Dongming Song exclaimed backstage. Yeah. Feng Yanjing nodded with an odd look. I was nothing like him at that age. As all the students evacuated through the main entrance, Su Ping left with the vice principal through the back door, followed by Luo Guxu and Feng Yanjing. There were a lot of students who failed to attend the lesson waiting outside, who quickly found someone among the retreating crowd to ask about what had happened just then. As the champion of the school tournament, Yi Hao had been occupying a vacant spot all to himself outside the venue. When he saw the attendees coming out, he went ahead and directly dragged one of them out. A new teacher was giving a lesson in there, right? Who is he, and what did he show you? Yi Hao's voice sounded neutral but commanding. The student he pulled away from the others was just the man who helped Su Ping demonstrate Little Skeleton's skills on the stage. He lowered his head politely when he saw Yi Hao talking to him. Mr. Yi, good to see you. Answer me. Both embarrassed and a bit afraid, this student explained everything he saw. An inferno dragon. Yi Hao's pupils constricted upon hearing that name. He had always thought that his thunder basilisk was the best among the best if all the students in the academy compared their pets. And yet, an inferno dragon was on a whole different level. If a thunder basilisk was to confront an inferno dragon when both of them reached adulthood, the former would just escape with its tail between its legs. Yi Hao scowled and walked away. Within hours, the names of an outstanding skeleton pet and an inferno dragon reached every corner of the academy. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 113 Mysterious Realm. While students of all grades were discussing the new advanced teacher, Su Ping was in Dongming Song's office, saying his farewells for the day. Why are you rushing back? Dongming Song was surprised that Su Ping was leaving right after the lecture. I have to take care of the store, Su Ping replied. He had to go back and continue the pet training even though the dummy function for pet training was available. He had to manually select the new pets for the following training batch. The function wasn't fully automated. Dongming Song understood after Su Ping mentioned the store. He remembered the wind fruit he bought for the store. A glow flashed through Dongming Song's eyes when he asked with anticipation, now that I recall, you can train pets in your store, right? Can you help train my pets? You can name the price. Su Ping threw him a look and shook his head. I don't accept advanced pets for the time being. Given Dongming Song's strength, his pets were most likely of the advanced rank. He wasn't Su Ping's target customer right then. Dongming Song was a bit disappointed to hear those words. Yet, on second thought, he could see the reason. He believed it was probably because the top-level trainer behind Su Ping had not yet recovered from his wounds and was unwilling to get in touch with battle pet warriors who were too powerful, as another way to keep his identity hidden. Dongming Song heaved a sigh inside and expressed his understanding, no problem. Do let me know if you can train them in the future. I will be waiting. Take it as me already making a reservation. Remember to come to me first. Su Ping gave him an odd look. Dongming Song sounded as if he knew the rules of the store. Sure. Su Ping then left after saying goodbye. Feng Yanjing sent him away. Su Ping went downstairs, took out his keys to unlock the bike and waved Feng Yanjing goodbye. Then, he rode back the way he had come from. At the gate, the doorman didn't stop him this time. They knew who he was now. After about half an hour, Su Ping returned to the store. The first thing he did was to summon the Inferno Dragon and Little Skeleton to put him back in the nursing pens. Previously, both had been resting in the nursing pens when they were summoned by him. The Antiquity Pet contract was different from the modern Astral Power contract. Su Ping's pets didn't have to stay in the contract space to be summoned. As long as they were within a certain range, they could be pulled into the contract space through the power of the contract and then summoned somewhere else. However, once they returned to the contract space, they couldn't return to the nursing pens on their own. Su Ping felt sorry for having wasted almost 2 hours of nursing pens time. After he settled down the two pets, he pulled up the window to the cultivation plains. He chose the second batch of pets from the nursing pens and used the dummy to train them. While he was selecting, all of a sudden, he noticed a pet that he had never seen in one of the nursing pens. It was a snakelet of the pet named Purple Python, which had 6th rank bloodline. Noticing the broken eggshells in the nursing slot, Su Ping realized that this was the egg that had come out from the second-level spirit pool for incubation. At the very best, a second-level spirit pool for incubation could breed advanced pets. He wasn't blessed with the best of luck. That being said, it was a good deal to have a 6th-rank pet bred with 100 energy points, i.e. 10,000 coins. Purple Python, a pet that is kind of common. No wonder I didn't find its information. I overestimated it, Su Ping said to himself. This was a pet skilled in combat. Compared to pets of the dragon, demon, and element families, pets of the combat family were generally much weaker. Most of such pets had limited abilities. It was only their pure strength that was shocking. Take this Purple Python for example. It wasn't highly toxic. The only advantage was its strength. The Purple Python had few pet skills, merely 2, namely Python Entangle and Snake Bite, which were inherited skills. If this Purple Python had a good aptitude, it could learn other skills such as Snake Roll and Lurking. But compared to the other pets, those skills were not worth mentioning. At the moment, the Purple Python had just hatched. The purple and cyan dots on its scales weren't connected yet. The Purple Python was only as long as an adult's arm. It curled up in the nursing slot and its scales would move up and down now and then as if breathing. The Purple Python was enjoying the anima in the nursing pens. Su Ping observed it. It suddenly hit him that he needed a middle-rank pet to unlock the service of advanced pets training. The worse the pet was, the easier it would be for the pet to be trained to an above-average rating. This Purple Python seemed like a suitable choice. Su Ping didn't act on it right away, though. He went back to select other pets for the next training batch. Su Ping went back to the store when the dummy began the training. He cultivated and watched the store while he pulled up the cultivation sites to see if there was any place suitable for the Purple Python. After the previous training, he had learned that the right cultivation site could make the pet training more effective. A customer arrived shortly after. Su Ping closed the window. It was a returning customer. Sir, I'm here for my fantasy beast. It was Gu Baiken. He seemed to be in a bad mood. He had shown up just to take his fantasy beast back. As for the training effect, he had no expectations at all. He thought he would just consider it a day's boarding service. It was expensive, but the blood soul bead and the devil's bones he managed to buy had covered this loss. Sure. Su Ping was happy since Gu Baiken had been on time. I will get it for you. Wait a moment. After he returned to the store that day, one of the first pet batches he had the dummy train was the fantasy beast. Su Ping went to the pet room. One glance and he found the fantasy beast in one of the nursing pens. He picked it up. The fantasy beast had just returned from the cultivation site and was quite traumatized. Right then, the fantasy beast was immersed in the comfort of the nursing slot. It flew into a rage when it was picked up by Su Ping. A mouth was revealed on its cloud-like body, showing its teeth at Su Ping in a clearly menacing way. However, anger was quickly changed for surprise when the fantasy beast saw and felt who it was. Its gaping mouth was slowly closed until it couldn't be seen. Its black, watery eyes were filled with sadness. Su Ping knew the fantasy beast had surely been trained well in the cultivation site, judging by how terrified it was. Su Ping cast a pet identification spell on it and noticed 2 additional skills. One of the skills was quite impressive. It was an advanced one. Besides, its combat strength was up by 0.2. This was a stunning result for this common training. Su Ping was quite happy. He brought the fantasy beast out from the pet room and gave it back to Gu Baikan. Your pet. Gu Baikan looked at his fantasy beast. He was relieved since there were no wounds. He nodded and said, "Thank you." It was nothing but polite words with no sincere feelings. With that said, he put away his fantasy beast. As for the training, he didn't even bother to ask. He didn't have to think to figure out what effects could come out from a one-day training. "I'm gonna go now." Gu Baikan turned around and left. Su Ping was surprised. He was ready to introduce the skills of the fantasy beast to Gu Baikan in case he wasn't familiar with his pet, which could prevent him from using its abilities to their full extent, like it happened with Xuanhuan. However, Gu Baikan didn't give him this chance. Su Ping had to give up since Gu Baikan had already left. After he left the pet store, Gu Baikan got into his SUV and drove to the border of the base city, heading toward the barren area outside. He had taken care of the registration the day before, when he returned to the city. Now he only had to wait until the Elite League began. During this time, he was going to train in the barren area for the final sprint. Su Ping continued cultivating after Gu Baikan left. He found time to pull up the systems shop and bought the middle-level beast catching ring as well. The regular customers that visited the store in the morning had made him earn nearly 5,000 energy points. It was more than enough to buy the middle-level beast catching ring. However, he needed a lot more energy points to buy that middle-level original force pellet he coveted. He felt powerless and frustrated. Not long afterward, another person went to the store. Su Ping had thought it was Gu Baikan again because this customer was driving the same car and the noise the exhaust pipe made was identical. Su Ping looked up and noticed it wasn't Gu Baikan but someone familiar. "Mr. Su, it's been a long time," Yi Chenshin greeted him with a smile. Su Ping was curious. "What are you doing here?" Yi Chenshin laughed. "We have to thank you for what happened last time. Isn't it what I should do to support your business?" Su Ping nodded. "Yes, indeed it is." This answer surprised Yi Chenshin. "Mr. Su, you are a frank man indeed." Su Ping didn't comment on that. "Come and take a look. What do you need?" Yi Chenshin cast his eyes on the shelf behind Su Ping. When Yi Chenshin saw the prices, he found it hard to keep that smile on his face. He just forced a laugh and changed the subject. "Mr. Su, actually, I have something amazing I want to tell you." "Oh." Su Ping remained calm. He wasn't surprised at all. No one went to the Hall of Trinity without a reason. That wasn't a Hall of Trinity, but a little store. Even so, if Yi Chenshin wanted to pay a debt of gratitude, he would have paid a visit much sooner. He waited till then, most likely, because he had something to ask. Yi Chenshin smiled. "A mysterious realm is opening up. Mr. Su, are you interested?" The Worldwide Elite League would begin shortly after. "Mr. Su, you must have signed up for it, right?" Going to a mysterious realm is an excellent training opportunity. Many people who have signed up for the league will go there to train, hoping to achieve a breakthrough so that they can stand out in the league. Even if you cannot win the championship, anyone lucky enough to reach the top 10 will have the chance to receive guidance from a legendary battle pet warrior. The mysterious realm is the key. Anyone who can secure precious treasures there or secret books that cannot be seen by anyone else would basically have an assurance to win at the Elite League. Mysterious realm. Su Ping was surprised. He seemed to have heard that information blockage about mysterious realms was even stricter than that of the barren areas. For civilians like him, he could only find a very limited amount of information. The only thing he knew was that even powerful warriors from the barren area could lose their lives in the mysterious realms. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 114 Heritage Grounds. Su Ping asked, "Can you give me more information about the mysterious realm?" Although he wasn't interested in going, it wouldn't do him any harm to know. Yi Qianxian didn't expect this question from him. He had thought that Su Ping had to be a person trained by some major forces in the base city, given how he could kill a magical corpse beast at such a young age and how exceptionally strong he was. Why did he seem not to be familiar with the mysterious realm? Yi Qianxian blinked. He wasn't sure whether Su Ping didn't know or he was trying to hide his identity by pretending. Either way, Yi Qianxian had to play along. The mysterious realm opening up this time is one of the 3 found in our subcontinent, Longtai Mountain. You must know that the Longtai Mountain is closed off all year round. Only the ones with powerful connections can go there alone. For us, the general public, we can only go there and explore when the mysterious realm is open to the public. I heard that the opening of the mysterious realm is specifically for people participating in the Elite League. The big potatoes of our subcontinent seem to have selected some participants that they want to train in the mysterious realm, so that they have better chances to win the global championship title. Anyways, we are in luck. Su Ping then understood. He didn't know how important the Elite League would be. Even those big potatoes were observing. The Elite League had to involve many stakeholders' interests. "Why did you come to see me?" Su Ping asked. Yi Qianxian laughed. "Last time, we owed you. There's nothing we can do to pay you back. So, when such an amazing chance popped up, the first person I thought of was you." Su Ping went straight to the point. "Seriously, what is the reason?" Yi Qianxian was taken aback and then produced a bitter smile. "That is the truth. Mr. Su, you must understand that woes are mixed with blessings. In the mysterious realm, there are benefits and dangers as well. This time, our team has obtained a treasure map. We will most certainly find some benefits there. Therefore, it can only be beneficial for you if you join us. I am just repaying your kindness." Su Ping looked at Yi Qianxian closely and felt the latter was most likely telling the truth. "I will think about it." Su Ping nodded. "Think about it?" Yi Qianxian was surprised. Usually, people would accept the offer right away given how fabulous the chance was. Why would Su Ping even want to think about it? Yi Qianxian smiled bitterly and sighed. He imagined that, maybe, because of Su Ping's strong connections, he didn't care about the mysterious realm since he must have seen the world. He didn't push Su Ping. The mysterious realm will only be available after a couple of days. "Mr. Su, take your time to think. When it opens, I will inform you. If you want in, I will come and pick you up." "Okay, thanks." Su Ping nodded. Yi Qianxian left after they exchanged a few extra pleasantries. When Yi Qianxian was away, Su Ping went to search for the mysterious realm on the internet. He tried several search engines and only came across something messy. There was nothing true about the mysterious realm. Su Ping suddenly remembered that he was an explorer with a silver medal. He might be able to find some information closed to the public by logging onto the website as an explorer. He opened and logged onto the official website of the explorers. He wanted to search for information there. He noticed in a column, there were the words, "Mysterious Realm," which came as a surprise to him. He clicked the link and was directed to another page. On the page, only 4 major continents were displayed. He clicked into the subcontinent, which was the area the Longjiang base city belonged to. There were 3 mysterious realms there. Namely, the Longtai Mountain, the River of Whale Bones, and the Tomb of Gods and Devils. Under the names were the background introduction of those mysterious realms. It turned out that those mysterious realms were originally inside space fractures as well. Different from the unknown worlds in the space fractures where the beasts and monsters resided in, there were traces of civilization in the mysterious realms. In the different regions, all kinds of dangerous monsters or treasures were hidden. With any luck, people could get rich overnight and soar up in society. If luck was in short supply, people would lose their lives there without leaving a trace. To put it simply, mysterious realms were more thrilling and alluring, where the powerful explorers would go to find benefits. Su Ping clicked into the page of the Longtai Mountain to find more details. He saw a huge dragon skull as soon as he entered the page. The empty eye sockets were fixed on him. It was as if there were some powers in the dragon's eyes, peering at him through time. There was a massive plaza under the dragon's skull. It was a core area, and also the entrance to the mysterious realm. Behind the dragon's skull was the spacious exploration site. The Longtai Mountain had 106 different regions. Currently, the people on the team had only explored 57 of them. Of those known regions, people had located battle pet skills lost in ancient times, special weapons, and eggs of pets that should have gone extinct. Some unknown germs had also been uncovered. Such discoveries were of tremendous help to medical science. It was also a place for exploration, with wider expanses and more benefits when compared to the barren lands. Su Ping made a summary of the mysterious realms after he read the information. His interest dropped. Yi Chenshin mentioned that there was a treasure map. But those areas with treasure sites could have ferocious guardian beasts. To put it simply, this was just like exploring the barren lands. There were risks and the only benefit was better returns. Su Ping closed the page of Longtai Mountain and then reviewed two main areas, the River of Whale Bones and the Tomb of Gods and Devils. Both were similar, the difference hinged on the fact that weapons and bones of gods and devils were once uncovered inside the Tomb of Gods and Devils. It stirred up a huge sensation amongst explorers. Su Ping closed the pages due to a lack of interest. He stayed in the store and pulled up the cultivation sites to select a proper one for the purple python. Amongst cultivation sites of the 4 levels, the number of elementary cultivation sites was the largest. The extraterrestrial meteorite region alone was numbered from 0 to over 70 million. Su Ping visited it once. It had been an extraterrestrial meteorite region numbered at around the 1000s. Each extraterrestrial meteorite region was qualified differently according to its environment. Maybe there was another common factor for them to be categorized as the extraterrestrial meteorite region. Su Ping skimmed through the extraterrestrial meteorite region and then looked at the introduction of other cultivation sites one by one. All of a sudden, he saw one, named Heritage Shadowland number 0 Bone Fiend Heritage Ground. Following No. there were number 1, number 2, and more. Just like the extraterrestrial meteorite regions, this was also a major category of cultivation sites. But behind each number was a different name, indicating a different heritage ground. Apart from the Bone Fiend Heritage Ground No. there were the Dragon King Heritage Ground, the Willow God Heritage Ground, etc. Su Ping threw a casual look at the cultivation sites in this category. The time and era they belonged to were included in the introduction. The Bone Fiend Heritage Ground No. for example, was from the 9th solar year of the new holy calendar. The Dragon King Heritage Ground was also from the 9th solar year of the new holy calendar. Su Ping didn't know what year it was exactly, but he learned from the system that at the very beginning, time was documented with the chaos calendar, then the immemorial holy calendar, later the new holy calendar was adopted, which was more modern. Apart from the time and era, Su Ping noticed that the cultivation sites in this category were all shadowlands, just as the name of the category suggested. There was no pet food in those cultivation lands. No plant could be taken out from there. Everything was an illusion. The only benefits to be enjoyed there were to train by leveraging the tests set up at those heritage grounds. The illusion was quite lifelike. It also meant that dying in those cultivation sites was literal death. And yet, with the benefit of being able to die several times, he wasn't afraid of this prospect. Su Ping was curious because the system's cultivation sites included the heritage grounds of some fallen gods and devils. The cultivation sites were all-inclusive. The Dragon King Heritage Ground is related to a fallen Dragon King. I have the Inferno Dragon that can be trained there, Su Ping said to himself. As a 9th rank pet of the best kind, it would be best if his Inferno Dragon could be trained as early as possible. Although those heritage grounds were illusory, and passing the tests there didn't mean that the legacy could be passed on to them, those tests should be quite effective for training with dragons. It was close to noon. People in general were most likely enjoying their lunchtime. There were only a few customers. Su Ping closed the store, then took the Inferno Dragon, the Purple Python, Little Skeleton, and the Manigam that had been abandoned by its master, to later head to the Dragon King Heritage Ground. The admission cost him 8 energy points. The familiar feeling that came with the changes in time and space assaulted him. When Su Ping opened his eyes again, he saw himself standing in front of a massive dragon skeleton of over 1,000 meters long. The skeleton meandered around. The huge dragon skull, its strong and terrifying horns exhibited power and a magnificent feeling that it couldn't be described with words. Su Ping looked up at the dragon skull. He exclaimed at the view and at the same time, felt this view familiar somehow. "Are you willing to accept the challenge for my legacy?" An ancient, vigorous and overwhelming voice came through. It was extremely loud, enough to make the whole space shake. Su Ping knew instantly that it was the soul of the Dragon King. A soul constructed by the illusions of this heritage ground was doing the talking. From the introduction, Su Ping had learned that this was a procedure set up by the system. Whether he accepted it or not, he would be sent into the default heritage tests. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 115, Dragon Tower. Su Ping intentionally stayed quiet to see what would happen next. As he expected, the dragon soul continued regardless of his choice. "Since that is your choice, be ready to face my trial." The voice tried to sound imposing, but it wasn't doing a very good job. He felt the space around him shake as if there was an earthquake coming. The ground in front of him was ripped open by the tip of a bone pillar, which rose higher until it stood tall like a giant tower. Su Ping checked and found a total of 9 sections, or levels, on the bone tower. At the same time, the dragon soul spoke directly to his mind again, telling him what the tower was used for. Apparently, he had to climb this dragon tower to finish his trial. By reaching the final level, he would be deemed qualified to challenge the final mission before acquiring the heritage. In the final mission, he had to purify all 109 dragon scales left by the dragon and restore its soul. Upon its death, this ancient dragon had sealed the fragments of its soul inside those scales. As time did its wonders, each scale had turned into a small piece of land tainted by filth and monsters. To purify a scale, Su Ping had to eliminate all the monsters living inside them. Su Ping got the gist of his mission and found his job to be too complicated to his liking. Working through 9 levels of the tower looked fine. But cleansing monsters from 109 dragon scales? That sounded too tedious. Those small lands were not exactly small by human standards. They had all kinds of terrains, monsters and even beast kings roaming around. Anyone who could do a good job there had to be at least a legendary battle pet warrior. According to the system, the Dragon King used to be something more ancient and mightier than beast kings. It was right and proper that it wouldn't let weaklings find its heritage easily. Su Ping was a little frustrated about the mission's difficulty, but he didn't feel too bad about it, since the challenge meant little to him. The place was an illusion. The only thing he might take from it was the experience gained from fighting monsters. No matter what kind of actual prize was promised, he wouldn't be able to take it home. In other words, finishing the final goal or not didn't matter. The mission's actual process was more important. Fine. Bring it on. He psyched himself up and walked ahead with his pets. He went in through a small entrance at the bottom of the tower. Little Skeleton was the only pet that seemed unaffected by the dragon soul's might. The Manigam seemed to be the one in the worst condition, as it had been frozen and trembling due to fear. The Inferno Dragon wasn't doing much better, even if it was a dragon-type pet, because dragons would strictly follow their social classes at all times. A dragon of a higher status was free to lord over other members of its clan on any occasion. As for the Purple Python, it only stayed close to Su Ping's feet to find some comfort through their pet contract. The mental pressure grew worse as they stepped inside the tower, as if there were more dragons hidden in the dark welcoming their prey. Anyone with a weak mind would have turned tail already. Su Ping took a deep breath and moved ahead without minding the dangerous aura. He was used to being suppressed by all kinds of deadly wills when exploring the chaotic realm of the undead. This fallen dragon king was puny compared to those nasty kings and lords of the underworld. Further ahead, Su Ping saw the image of a large golden dragon roaring at him while displaying its unparalleled preeminence. The inferno dragon whelp, which usually stayed proud in front of other pets, had hidden its head under one of its wings. It probably would have escaped into a rabbit hole if there was one nearby. The mannequin was not moving, it had collapsed on the floor, unconscious. The purple python had huddled into a coil while keeping its head concealed in the center, as if it could hide from plain sight this way. As for little skeleton, like always, it wasn't showing any particular reaction. Su Ping saw his terrified pets and shook his head in disappointment. That golden dragon was clearly another illusion incapable of doing any actual harm. Maybe it could scare off its opponents by using a portion of the Dragon King's aura, but that was about it. Guess I can't expect more from something born and raised under protection. Heck, that lightning rat could do way better than this. Su Ping turned back and kicked the mannequin in the rear to wake it up. It worked at first, but as soon as the mannequin saw the ferocious dragon image, it went out cold again, tongue out. Su Ping frowned and kicked it again. He kept doing it until the dog could do better. His improvised training began to show its worth after the mannequin fainted and woke up for several times. Still, the creature would only stare at the floor like a scolded puppy no matter what. Su Ping applied the killing intent effect on the mannequin, causing it to suddenly yell at the dragon image with a pair of glowing red eyes. But as soon as the effect ended, it tucked its tail between its legs as if asking for forgiveness. A yellow puddle was spread from under its butt, adding a different kind of flavor to the air. This coward, Su Ping silently complained. To escape from the odor, Su Ping decided to move forward. He saw a small dot of light in the ceiling not far from his position. It seemed to be a hole for him to get to the next level. After tossing the pets through that hole, he also jumped through and reached the second floor. Unsurprisingly, the dragon's will was intensified by several times compared to the first floor. Apart from an invisible pressure, Su Ping also heard rustling noises coming from the darkness. He wondered if this was all the Dragon Tower challenge had to offer. That fake dragon was basically useless. At this rate, he could clear the second floor in no time. Without minding the noise that suggested a sleeping dragon was close, he quickly found the next hole and jumped to the third floor, while only taking little skeleton with him. He would leave the other pets at level 2 to keep sharpening their courage. As soon as he emerged from the hole, he saw another golden dragon coming his way, claws raised. This one was only about 10 meters in length from tip to tail, which meant it was only a child. It sure looked dangerous, though. He thought it was another illusion meant to spook him, but the unusual energy signature tickling his skin told him otherwise. Little skeleton drew its blade and began wrestling with the small dragon. Ha! That's a clone made out of energy. Su Ping raised an eyebrow as he recognized the nature of the attacking dragon. Unlike what he presumed, the Dragon Tower was beginning to send real enemies his way. Little skeleton made quick work of the small dragon and soon returned to his side. A kid as strong as common 7th rank pets. I guess this is pretty normal for dragons. Su Ping decided to be more careful from then on as he kept going. About 2 hours later, Su Ping left the Dragon Tower with his pets in tow. Little skeleton barely made it through the last floor. Su Ping didn't believe he was lucky. It was likely that the tower designed all the challenges according to what he had. If Little Skeleton was 1 rank higher, the enemy at the last floor would probably be a Beast King. As he estimated, anyone of an aptitude of above average could clear the tower challenge with enough effort. There was no way that a proud Dragon King was willing to give its heritage to an above-average human. Whoever set the challenges up probably wasn't expecting better humans to show up in the first place. He couldn't help but wonder what kind of human beings could reach higher levels of aptitude. Without wasting any time, he ordered the pets to stay close so they could look for the dragon scales. It wasn't hard to find those things because they were just randomly placed behind the tower. Each one looked as large as a small town with a unique theme, such as a gloomy graveyard or an erupting volcano. By looking from afar, Su Ping could more or less imagine what kind of monsters lived in them. The scales were placed pretty close to each other, but with clear boundaries that set them apart. Su Ping realized that he could see this place as a nice training ground for different pets, since he could easily find a scale of the proper element for every type of pet. End of the chapter. Astral Pets Store will be read in 5 chapters for every Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. Please leave this sound novel and press subscribe, follow, and the bell so you don't miss any new clips as well. See you.